Chairman of the Democratic National Committee. He is Jaime Harrison, joining us live here on Morning in America. Happy Election Day to you, Jaime. Thanks for being with us. I'll start with the same question. The one data point that has you bullish today about why Vice President Harris could win is what?
Well, in a tight race, it's the ground game that is the difference. And we have a stronger ground game than they do over at the RNC and in the Republican Party in general. Just this weekend alone, we had almost 100,000 volunteers and who knocked on almost 3 million doors. In Pennsylvania alone, we were at a rate of 2,000 doors every minute. And so we've been swamping the ground in these battleground states, talking and touching the voters and really pushing them to come out to vote. And I believe, when you have these 47, 48, 48, 48 races, it's the ground game that makes the difference. And I believe that we have a stronger and a better ground game than they do on the Republican side.
So help me with this, Jaime, because right now, obviously, Vice President Harris is the incumbent, her and President Biden in the White House. You know the old saying, quote unquote, it's the economy, stupid. And right now, 79% of America says the country's on the wrong track. 78% of America says that prices have gone up more than their wages over the last few years. So if that's what America is saying about issue number one, how does the incumbent win with that being the backdrop?
Well, we saw at the beginning of this race, there's this huge gap between Donald Trump and the Democratic candidate, whether it was Biden and then early on with Kamala Harris in terms of his advantage. But Kamala Harris, after rolling out her agenda for what she wants to do in terms of the economy and helping all of the America's people, saw that gap really get very, very narrow. And right now,
it got narrow and then it expanded, and nearly 8 and 10 say we're on the wrong track, though.
I've actually seen polls just as recent as this week that showed the narrow gap. So we believe that in the end of the day, we're going to win out, not because of just where we are on the economy, but also in terms of the freedom of the American people. We are seeing a huge gap right now in terms of the early vote, that there's a large gender gap. More women are turning out right now. And when you look at where women are voting, they're voting for Kamala Harris because they understand that their fundamental freedoms are at stake right now. That's what America is all about, is our freedom. Right? The freedom to live our American dream, to do the things that we want to do. And Donald Trump is a direct threat to that freedom for many women. We have seen more and more women in this country die because of Donald Trump's appointment of 3 right-wing justices to the Supreme Court that ripped away the freedom of women to control their own bodies. For the first time in 50 years, women in this nation have less rights than they once had. That's not who we are as Americans.
So I know that's part of her closing argument. Let me leave you with this, Jaime. The key state of Pennsylvania, right? Our partners at Decision Desk HQ put it at an 85% chance whoever wins Pennsylvania, Donald Trump or VP Harris, they're most likely going to the White House, 85% shot. There was an ad that was run in Pennsylvania by Bob Casey, long-term Democrat. He served 3 terms there, seeking a 4th. And the ad said from the Democrat, quote, Casey bucked Biden to protect fracking, and he sided with Trump to end NAFTA and put tariffs on China to stop them from cheating. If the Democrat in Pennsylvania is giving that message, he bucked Biden and he's with Trump on some issues, why are you hopeful that Pennsylvania is going blue?
I just told you, we knocked on 2,000 doors a minute. 2,000 doors a minute. The RNC's ground game in Pennsylvania is pathetic. We've been touching all these orders. I talked to our Pennsylvania Democratic Party chair the other day. He told me that when you combine labor and other groups, 30 million door knocks over the course of this cycle in Pennsylvania alone. And so it's about touching the voters. It's about talking with them about the issues that are important to them. Of course, Kamala Harris has been talking about working with Republicans as well. The sad thing is Donald Trump doesn't talk about that. The only thing he talks about is his grievances and paybacks that he wants to give to those who he feels that have grieved him. And so it's about focusing on the American people, and that's what the Democratic Party has done.
All right.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.